From the roads you drive on to the water in your glass and the lights in your home, that's Monroe. Running a city of 40,000 people takes a lot of work. In each episode of Monroe Living, Our City at Work, we're taking you behind the scenes to meet the people making it happen. Along the way, you'll discover more about the parks, events, and neighbors that make Monroe shine. Welcome to Monroe Living, Our City at Work. Thank you for joining us. I'm Lisa Hollowell, Assistant City Manager for the City of Monroe, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm joined today by Tim Pappas. He is the Supervisor of the Dowd Theatre, and I'm so thankful to have you with us today, Tim. I'd like to start out with what brought you to the City of Monroe, and when was that?
Well, thanks for having me. First and foremost, my family and I were actually residents of the City of Monroe. We moved up here to the Piedmont area about 4 years ago to be closer to family. My wife's family lives out in Waxhaw, and as we started to expand our circle and figure out where we would set roots, we came here and lived in Monroe. I've been with the city now for a little over 8 months, and we've lived in Monroe for two years.
Well, that's awesome. This theater is such a special place. If you haven't been there, those of you who are listening, if you haven't been to the theater, I would highly encourage you to come out here. It is a beautiful, old, historical theater. And can you tell us a little bit about the history? I know you've only been here 8 months, but what do you know about this place?
Well, I'll tell you, it's one of those things where, having not grown up in a place, I'm originally from Orlando, Florida, and though the history there does exist, it's not something that's often talked about or thought of. So when I moved up here to a place like historic downtown Monroe, where the buildings all ooze history and they show you the history in a blueprint fashion, the first thing I did was, I got to learn it. So when I started working here at the theater, I really started to dig deep, and my diggings continue to learn even more. So essentially, the theater started out in 1940. A gentleman by the name of F. Wheeler Smith, he had the theater constructed in 1940, and it ran as a movie house from 1940 to 1991 consistently. Then in 1991, it shut down, and the property sat here dormant. And it sat here for a very long time, until kind of the mid-2010s, the city started to get involved after several renovation attempts didn't quite work out the way it was planned. And by 2021, the theater reopened as the Dowd Center Theatre. And with it came a full renovation. The pictures are absolutely incredible to see this incredible space completely gutted down to bricks and cement and rebuilt essentially to not just restore the glory that it once had, but improve upon it and make it modern so that it could be not only a movie house, but a performing arts space. With it, they added the adjacent property and turned that into an art gallery. And we have rotating exhibits of local artists that show there quarterly. So we have all sorts of great artists in the community and surrounding areas that we feature right here.
It's very quiet and peaceful, and when you're walking around and seeing that art, it's just a nice place to be. It's very elegant. So what kind of shows do you have here, and what do you have planned?
So we show a variety of different live performances and films. So we're aiming to get a little something for everybody. People love live music, but they also love variety acts, family performances. So some of the things that we've had here in the past just this season was the Marshall Tucker Band, which was a huge success here in the city of Monroe. We had Los Lonely Boys, which was an incredible band. I remember them from the early 2000s, but I hadn't seen a show like that in some time. One of the best bands I have ever seen. But conversely, coming up is a great example of one of those wide varieties of things. We have the Celebrity Housewives, Dolores Catania and Sonia Morgan, who candidly I wasn't too familiar with ahead of this, but I hear they're fabulous, and I think a lot of people are going to be very excited to see their favorite reality TV show stars in this candid interview type setting.
So what city are they from?
One of them is from New Jersey, Dolores is from New Jersey, and Sonia is from New York.
Okay, so they've been on those shows.
Yeah, big time. National television, and they're, by all counts, they are two of the more popular ladies who've been on the show in its run. But then conversely, we also feature local community groups like the Union County Playmakers, and we just recently had the Union Symphony Orchestra in here for a great concert featuring their concertmaster, David Song. It was fabulous night of music, and I think all who attended were blown away by how great the room sounds for an acoustic ensemble, just as it would for one of our rock bands that come in here.
A couple of my favorite shows over the past year, I saw Priscilla Presley, and it was just really nice hearing her story about her time with Elvis. And so I thought it was pretty amazing how she single-handedly, saved Graceland.
Yeah.
And so she talked a bit about all of that. And then also the Elvis impersonator.
Stephen Freeman.
Is he coming back?
Well, I don't see any reason why not. He's a fabulous performer. He puts on a great show. He's so great with the people. You can tell he's had such experience doing these tribute performances, and each time he comes, it seems that more and more people turn out for him. So we're actually talking about some potential movement for some great shows in the future with him.
Well, what I loved about him is that he would go out to the audience. He had his red scarf and he would put it around some of the, audience members.
He spent like 70% of the show in the audience, which was a surprise to me. I was like, the stage is up there, buddy.
Yeah.
But what's really great is we actually have backstage, we have a signature wall. So all the artists who come here and perform, it's not something that most of the public gets to see on a regular basis, but it's, I think, one of the neatest features of our building is we've had every artist sign that wall who's ever performed on this stage.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe we can take a tour in a bit and take a look at that wall.
With pleasure.
And then one I missed last year, but seemed to be very, very popular, was Mini Kiss.
Well, if you missed them, don't worry. There may be an opportunity in the future.
Okay.
Soon.
Soon? Okay. So what else do you have on the horizon for
Yeah.
us?
So we have a internationally famous magician called Leon Etienne. He's been on America's Got Talent, Penn and Teller Fool Us, and Jimmy Fallon. He's bringing his show Magic Rocks here, a family-friendly, big illusion show with large illusions, close-up magic. That's on May 1st. And then on May 9th, we have the Carla Harris Quartet. She is a jazz vocalist, and she's traveled the world, and she teaches jazz arts. She's really fabulous. It's going to be a Mother's Day show. So it'll be the
nice.
Saturday right before Mother's Day, and
Okay.
everything is themed toward mothers. So it's going to be a really nice way to celebrate Mom on a Saturday when things aren't so busy on Sundays. And I think it's one that people are really going to enjoy when they come here. And right now, also, we just worked out a deal with the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra. They're going to come from Charlotte to put on a performance called Bach and Beyond, which will feature a harpsichord right here on the Dowd Center stage, and a flute soloist, a violin soloist, all performers from the Charlotte Symphony who live in and about the Charlotte metro area, and I think a few of them actually live out in Union County. So it's going to be really nice to have them here. More stuff coming on the horizon. We have our April movie series coming up very soon, all about unexpected heroes. So we're showing 42, the Jackie Robinson story, Ella Enchanted, Matilda, and the Princess Diaries. The Princess Diaries.
And you have regular movies also. I don't know if that's part of any series you mentioned, like on Thursday night.
That's right.
And are those themed right now? Is it themed in a
Yeah,
certain
so that's
manner?
kind of the overarching story. Is we try to curate movies that kind of tell one theme all throughout. So all of our March movies were themed to fortune hunting and luck and gold at the end of a rainbow. So just tomorrow night we have The Goonies that we're showing. And then all of our April movies, most of them on Thursdays, with Matilda being on a Saturday. The best part is that it's $2 to get into those movies.
I love those movies. I typically come. It's great that you only have to pay $2 to get in, and then I end up getting popcorn and candy and soft drinks. And
you barely spend $10
Yeah,
on it. It's
it's
the
a
cheapest
great
date
deal.
in town.
I love that.
And I think our popcorn is the best. I'm partial.
Oh, it's delicious, and it's very buttery. What about Sundays? Do y'all do anything on Sundays?
Not to date, but in the future, looking into September, a typical theater season will go from the fall through the spring. So we're planning some things now. We're going to try maybe a late Sunday afternoon, something that people can do once they get out of church, bring the family together after they've had lunch, and have a nice afternoon of entertainment here. We're really excited about some future prospects on Sunday afternoons.
Okay, that sounds good. I always look for something to do, and it seems like that could be a draw for people to come to the downtown.
Totally agree.
What else do you want people to know about what's going on at the Dowd?
I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you mentioned what a facility it is. I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of our residents probably don't realize is how fortunate we are to have a space like this right in the heart of our downtown. The historic marquee out front, modeled after the classic marquee that people have known in its history. When they come in, they've realized they're in a historic space, but they don't quite realize that this modern facility, it harkens the past, but really stays up to date with what's current and expected in performing arts spaces like ours. And all of our equipment is state of the art. We provide a seamless experience when our artists come in and perform on our stage. And I think we provide the same experience as well for our patrons. It's really a special place. It's one of those places that many communities of our size don't have. And in our area, there's really nothing like us around. I mean, the closest performing arts center around here is the Dowd Center at Wingate University. And other than that, there's really not a stage space like us anywhere.
Mm-hmm. What about plays? Do we get many plays, like local school plays?
That's something we're working on. So we work with the Union County Playmakers a couple times a year. They'll come in traditionally around Christmas time and put on some incredible performances for the community. 3 in a day. Usually one of those is presented entirely in Spanish. So it's really an incredible way to reach the communities that are with us here in the city. But we're kind of exploring the theatrical world a little more. Also trying to offer some services to local schools so that their students can come here on a field trip on an afternoon and come see a live performance that they might not get elsewise.
I think we need to have an open house.
Yeah.
Where it's just open and invite the public to come in and maybe nothing be running as far as a movie or anything, but just let people come in and see our place so that they can start planning their schedule around some of our events.
I couldn't agree with you more. When I first started working here, when I first moved to Monroe, we walked downtown Monroe on Main Street, and I said, oh my goodness, look at this place. It's incredible. This beautiful theater space, but I wasn't quite sure when the events were, when we could expect things next. So that's one of the things that we're working toward, is building a more regular schedule that people can rely on. They know, okay, on Thursday nights they have movies, and every second Friday they have a live performance, things like that, so that it helps people get in a rhythm.
Yes, absolutely. That would be some good continuity. And what I love also is that we get to have some of our big meetings. If we have a all-hands-on meeting with a department, a larger department with the city, we'll come here and have that here.
Yeah, and it's great too for public input sessions. We've had a lot of, our planning department has had several events here that we open to the community. They have a chance to walk around in an interactive kind of space, so they're not restricted to just sitting in a room and hearing what's going on. They can kind of float between station to station and learn what's important and what new improvements can come to our city.
And the city council has had a few meetings here also. Okay, well, let's go for a tour.
Okay. All right, so we're backstage. This is our scene shop / green room for when our artists come. And this is the famous signature wall I told you about.
Nice. Okay, let's see some famous ones here.
All right.
Oh, Elvis.
There he is. And don't forget Priscilla.
Oh, beautiful handwriting.
I know, right? And John Ford Coley of England, Dan and John Ford Coley, he had the nerve to sign inside her Y loop.
Oh, that's cute.
Sierra Hull was one of the first artists that we had here at the theater when it reopened in 2021. And don't forget, of course, Minnie Kiss, as you mentioned before. There they are down at the bottom.
I see that.
But yeah, it's been really incredible to see this wall, even since I've been here, fill up more than it was. I don't know what the plan is once we run out of space, though, to be honest. We've got to kind of paint somewhere else.
Well, it's filling up, and it's pretty amazing, and then we'll have to get this framed and glassed over.
Yeah, it's really special. I mean, this is traditionally in the theater world, the folks who travel around will call it tagging, so they'll do this wherever they go. But I think it's a really thoughtful thing that was included when the renovation happened, that we had a space dedicated for this sort of thing.
But Tim, it's really amazing, and tonight's an event going on. What's happening tonight?
This is one of those examples of the city's use of the space. So this is our historic downtown Monroe branding workshop. So they're working on some of the new looks for the historic downtown Monroe logo. some of the materials that will be used, and this is a public input session where folks can actually come here and give their opinion on the different elements. And as you'll see, it's set up in this great sort of flex space where each station has its dedicated focus, and then the residents can come and see exactly which things are most important to them.
And Tim, here's some of the artwork that you have displayed.
That's right.
And who's the artist over here?
This is Kathy Rory. She lives in Weddington, and her art came up in February along with Bill Colt, who is a resident of the city of Monroe.
Oh, I recognize his work. It's
if you've been around Monroe, you've seen his stuff somewhere, that's for sure.
Famous.
Yeah. And their beautiful art is kind of the best office adornment ever created, really.
Nice. And then here's your main entrance.
Yeah, this is the lobby area where you'll find Lynn and Paul, who are my just two amazing and fabulous colleagues that I couldn't do anything without. And here it is, the famous projector.
Wow.
So this sat up in the upstairs office, what was the projection room and is now Paul's office, and he spent countless hours making this projector look as fabulous as it looks, down to the lamplight inside, polished and shined up.
Nice. It looks new to be old.
Isn't it?
You know?
And then each one of the little gears and mechanisms inside here. This part is really cool because this is actually how the sound from the movies was processed. So the film came up through this optical reader. It was an optical sound design and then sent out through the wiring that went through the back. And one other detail that I think is really great, these film reels here, if you look, it says 20 minutes on each reel. So that's what I was mentioning before, is that the projectionists really had to take their time and pay attention to what was going on, because that's only 20 minutes of what could be a 90-minute movie. So you're going to have to change that reel 4 or 5 times during the time that the folks are watching, and be sure that you don't miss a beat, because they'll know.
Sounds
so
like
a lot
it was
of
real
pressure.
art back then.
Most certainly. Yeah, it's an incredible piece of machinery, and I'm just so pleased that it gets to live here in our lobby in perpetuity as a testament to what we do here.
Very nice.
Now, one other detail I want to show you, which I think is really, really neat. We'll have to kind of crane our neck around here. I hope it's not. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So this here is where we actually store all of our letters for the marquee. So if you go ahead in there, you'll see there's a cabinet in here, and each one has a slot for each of the letters. Each of the letters is put up by hand every time the title changes on the marquee. So Paul brings out a huge ladder, gets on top of it, and changes out letter by letter.
Like the old-fashioned way.
It's the old-fashioned way.
So we're never going digital, right?
No way.
No, this
Not
is
if I have
cool.
anything to do with
Wow.
it. Yeah, each of those letters, several of them are actually original from the original stock of lettering that we had, and that display cabinet, that storage cabinet, is actually somewhat original to the building. It was here before the renovation.
Nice. And what a little narrow closet there, just perfect for that.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 sets of stairs
That's
that
right.
lead up to the balcony.
Yeah.
This is the back one.
This is the house
main
right
one.
stairs and the house left. They both connect, so you can go up either one. There's about 160 seats upstairs and about 400 downstairs.
And even the seats upstairs. I mean, I've sat up there before, and I find it, you've got a great view.
I'd say it's a little secret. Some of the best seats in the house are up there.
Yes. What an amazing tour that was. Tim, can you tell us a little bit about the projector that you're restoring?
Yeah, so that is the original projector from the building. It's 1939 or 40, we estimate, a carbon arc projector. It's the same thing that welders use, is a carbon rod. Originally, that's what would light the films that we would show here. So the projectionist had to be incredibly well skilled, and it was almost like an art, to be honest. They had to get the light temperature right so that it showed the film properly without the danger of burning the film up. And it was a really complicated job. And that's one of the things that I think is so great about the piece, is looking at it, you can tell just by seeing it the story that it tells. It's not, it could be as plain as could be, but instead they've modeled the thing to kind of look like the front of a freight train. You know, it's got adornments on it and little bits and pieces that kind of show the artistry that went into making it and running the machine.
Wow.
And that's one thing that we're really trying to feature here is, I mentioned before that we have, the local art that we show out in the gallery. But in the summer, we're actually working on a History of the Center Theatre exhibit that will take that space during the summertime.
Oh, great.
So we'll dive a little bit deeper into the history through visuals as well as storytelling, even about the projectionist himself. There was a gentleman named Esley Ewing who spent the majority of his life as the projectionist for the Center Theatre.
Wow.
Not just the Center Theatre, but also the State Theatre down a little on the other side of Main Street. And we're going to feature his story, tell a little bit more about the people who made the place, and not just the place itself, because that's so important. That's really an incredible thing that we have, is this bright, shiny new facility, but we also have such an incredible story to tell.
Are you going to display once this thing gets, reworked?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the truth and all credit goes to our technical specialist, Paul Risnick. So when the theater was renovated, Pete Hovanek had the foresight to take those pieces of equipment and put them in storage. When I first started here at the Dowd Center Theatre, he brought me out and showed them to me, and I said, let's get them over to the theater. Let's see what we can do with them. So I mentioned to Paul, this is what I'd like to do. What do you think? And Paul is a very nonchalant guy, but he just goes, okay. So we bring him in, and I mean, in a matter of 6 weeks, he's got this thing almost fully assembled, sanded down to its original metal, repainted. Even the smallest little screws and bolts and whatever those things are called that move the film along, he took it apart piece by piece with no previous knowledge of how to do it.
Wow.
And if you lift every door, every surface of that thing has been refinished.
That's amazing. Will it be operable?
It won't be operable, but it should be pretty.
Okay, yay. I can't wait to see that and the history of the Dowd out there.
He's working on the ticket machine right now, the original ticket machine. We found some old tickets inside the actual machine itself. And I'll have you know that those tickets, I think the most expensive one in there was $1.25. So I think we've been relatively cool in adjusting the price for inflation.
Oh, absolutely. Now I want to hop back to your history.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of acting in your background as well with Disney. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I am a theater kid. When I was growing up, I was originally in the orchestra. I played the cello. And then when I hit high school, for some reason, I did my first high school musical show, and I was like, I'm hooked. This is what I want to do. So I worked for a long time at Disney World, but not always as a performer, but that was sort of my goal there. I wanted to perform in a Disney show. So I was there almost 20 years all said, and at the very end of my time there for the last 8, I worked in a show called The Royal Majesty Makers in Fantasyland. So I got to play sort of this member of Cinderella's royal court and pick a kid to pull the sword out of the stone every day and stand in front of Cinderella Castle in the morning and welcome people to the Magic Kingdom and talk to Mickey Mouse.
Oh, yay.
And so that was an incredible time in my history. I think it was sort of a dream come true moment.
Wow. It's a great place, and I'm sure the kids loved you.
Oh.
So tell me about some of the other characters that you played at Disney.
Yeah, so that was my primary place. That's where I spent the most of my time, but I played everything from a world-class sommelier named Salvatore who told people about the wines they're drinking, but he knew nothing about wine really, so that was how I got to have fun. And then I played a character, a pirate who walked out on the beach and helped kids find buried treasure. And one of my favorite things to do, and actually my wife and I got to do this together, is we get to be wedding crashers, paid wedding crashers. So we would take on these personas. I would be John Donson, and we'd go into people's weddings and show up in the tackiest of clothing and dance with them on the dance floor and do it for a living, which was just absolutely incredible.
So you go to a wedding party about every week.
That's right. It was amazing. That was such a great time at Disney. And then in 2019, I was working full-time as a performer for them and working in the surrounding areas at Universal and some of the dinner shows. But Disney decided they would go a different path. And so they closed the show that I was in, which is a normal case of entertainment business. And I really didn't know what to do next. And so for a while, I had been narrating with the Orlando Philharmonic Orchestra as part of my acting experience. And they said, there's this administrative role. Would you be interested in interviewing for it? And I frankly had no idea what it was. But I said, I'll figure it out. I've got a 9-month-old at home. And so that's how I kind of went into the orchestra administrative world, which was never part of my plan, ever in a million years. But that's how we ended up finding our way to Charlotte, is I ended up working with the Charlotte Symphony for 3 years, and most of that time as their operations director. And nothing could have prepared me more for this role here with the city than that job.
Oh, absolutely. We're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
So did you and your wife meet at Disney
More or
World?
less, yeah, as a matter of fact. So we did a big community choir show called Encore, and it's this incredible organization where they pull together completely volunteer, 100, 200 people, singers, musicians, and put on these incredible shows, and all of the proceeds benefit a charity. So one year it was the ASPCA, one year it was the Ronald McDonald House. So we met there, and we just started sort of dating, becoming friends, and that was 15 years ago.
Tim, if people want to find out more information about the upcoming shows and that schedule, where do they go?
So they can either follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Dowd Center Theatre, or visit our website at www.dowdcentertheatre.com. And that's theater, Theatre, because we're fancy like that.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I think that the listeners are going to love hearing this one, and we really do want you to come out and visit the Dowd Theater. Obviously, we're open, some during the afternoons, and it would be a great opportunity to see some artwork. This summer's going to be amazing since we're going to have the historical pieces out in front.
And we'll have family-friendly movies that we'll show during the summer, so when the kids are out of school, they'll have something to do during the daytimes as well.
That's great.
All of our family movies during the summer will be presented in a sensory-friendly way, so that it's a little bit more comfortable for any of the children who want to come, or any of the people who want to come see the films. The lights will be on a little bit more than usual. The sound will be down a little bit less than usual. And it's really a nice open environment where the kids can walk around or go out in the lobby for a while. There's plenty of space, and we want everybody to feel as comfortable as possible.
Okay, absolutely, and we'll get that advertised and help you do that. All right, well, thank you for joining us today on Monroe Living, Our City at Work, and more to come.